Namaskar friends, the title for today is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. He's a famous author. The Alchemist is actually a Portuguese title. In Portuguese you may call it O Alchemista. Is a novel by Brazilian author Paulo Coelho that was first published in 1988. It was originally written in Portuguese. It became a widely translated international bestseller and allegorical novel. The Alchemist follows a young Andalusian shepherd in his journey to the pyramids of Egypt after having a recurring dream of finding a treasure there. Just let me tell you that Andalusian is a dialect of Spanish spoken in the Andalusia region of Spain. In dictionary terms, if we were to see what alchemist is, it's a person who practices alchemy. It's got to do with chemistry of, converting metals into gold or to find some kind of elixir. So it basically has to do with metals. So the Alchemist follows the journey of an Andalusian shepherd boy named Santiago, believing a recurring dream to be prophetic. And on his journey, he asks a Romani fortune teller in a nearby town about its meaning. The woman interprets the dream as a prophecy, telling the boy that he will discover treasure at the Egyptian pyramids. Early into his journey, he meets an old king named Melchizedek, or the king of Salem, who tells him to sell his sheep so as to travel to Egypt, and introduces the idea of a personal legend. Your personal legend is what you have always wanted to accomplish. Everyone, when they are young, knows what their personal legend is. Early in his arrival to Africa, a man who claims to be able to take Santiago to the pyramids instead robs him of what money he had made from selling those sheep to the king. Santiago then embarks on a long path of working for a crystal merchant so as to make enough money to fulfill his personal legend and go to the pyramids. Along the way, the boy meets an Englishman who has come in search of an alchemist and continues his travels in his new companion's company. When they reach an oasis, Santiago meets and falls in love with an Arabian girl named Fatima, to whom he proposes marriage. But she promises to do so only after he completes his journey. Frustrated at first, he later learns that true love will not stop, nor must one sacrifice to it one's own personal destiny, since to do so robs it of truth. The boy then encounters a wise alchemist who teaches him to realize his true self. Together they risk a journey through the territory of warring tribes, where the boy is forced to demonstrate his oneness with the soul of the world. Now, the soul of the world is a title given to the spiritual force in the Alchemist that unites mankind with nature and equals and governs all things as one by turning himself into a simoon, a dust storm, before he is allowed to proceed. Thereafter, when he begins digging within the sides of the pyramids, he is robbed yet again, but accidentally learns from the leader of the thieves that the treasure that he is looking for all along was not in the ruined, is actually in the ruined church and not here in the pyramids where he had his original dream. Coelho wrote The Alchemist in only 2 weeks in 1987. He explained that he was able to write at this pace because the story was already written in his soul. The book's main theme is about finding one's own destiny. Although, according to the New York Times, The Alchemist is more of a self-help than literature. The advice given by Santiago is that when you really want something to happen, the whole universe will conspire so that your wish comes true. Is the core of the novel's philosophy and a motif that plays throughout the book. The Alchemist was first released by Rocco, an obscure Brazilian publishing house. Albeit having sold well, the publisher after a year decided to give back Coelho the rights. Needing to heal himself from this setback, Coelho set out to Rio de Janeiro with his wife and spent 40 days in the Mojave Desert. Returning from the excursion, Coelho decided he had to keep on struggling and was so convinced it was a great book that he started knocking the doors of other publishers. In 1994, it was published as a comic adaptation by Alexander Gibran. HarperCollins imprint produced an illustrated version of the novel with paintings by the French artist Maubins, but failed to convince Coelho to consent to the full graphic novel treatment. The Alchemist, a graphic novel, was finally published in 2010, adapted by Derek Ruiz and with artwork of Daniel Sampier. In 2002, a theatrical adaptation of The Alchemist was produced and performed in London. Since then, there have been several productions by the Cornish Collective. In 2009, an Indian adaptation of the novel was staged by Ashwin Gidwani Productions. In music, The Alchemist has inspired numerous bands of the same name. In 1997, RCA Red Seal released The Alchemist Symphony by composer and conductor Walter Taib with the support of Paulo Coelho, who wrote an original text for the CD booklet. In September 2009, an orchestral performance was conducted at the Anti-Haste Synagogue in New York. Inspired by The Alchemist, an orchestral performance was composed by One World Symphony for composer and conductor Sung Jin Hong's wedding. So friends, this is a great book. Just in case you've not read this particular book, I would suggest go through it. It's a very soothing and a very nice book. So friends, that's all for today. Goodbye and see you soon.